Welcome back to our new series, Behavior Tip Tuesdays, brought to you by the Inclusion and Behavior Support Program here at DECAL. We are so glad that you have joined us today as we discuss transitional cues as an effective strategy that encourages positive behaviors in young children.
Hi, I'm April Holman, and I'm an Inclusion and Behavior Support Specialist for the Inclusion and Behavior Support Program, serving the South region of the state.
And I'm Margaret Armour, also an Inclusion and Behavior Support Specialist. We will be your tipsters for this session today. It's great to be here with you all, and thank you for joining us.
During the months of July and August, the Inclusion and Behavior Support Program is launching a campaign that aims to equip early childhood educators with useful strategies and resources, while also spreading awareness about the coaching and training services we offer statewide. Our campaign is called Planting the Seeds for a Successful School Year.
Over the next couple of months, there will be opportunities for you to get to know our inclusion and behavior support team and to gain access to valuable resources that center around inclusive classroom practices with a focus on promoting social emotional development. We want to partner with you to build your toolkit so that you feel prepared and supported moving into the new school year.
During our Behavior Tip Tuesday series, we are excited to share effective teaching practices that will help set the stage for early learning opportunities within the classroom environment. Throughout the series, we will speak on promoting choice in positive language, executing successful transitions, building relationships through reinforcement and praise, and setting classroom expectations. So be sure to tune in each Tuesday for our Behavior Tip of the Week. During today's session, we will explore the importance of having transitional cues. Let's begin by discussing some really simple but powerful steps that adults can take to really begin to address challenging behavior in an effective, systematic way.
So going into any new school year, it's important to pre-plan the ways you will teach and reinforce appropriate behaviors from day one. Additionally, we encourage teachers to have a general plan for how to address challenging child behaviors. Having a plan can minimize stress and chaos when difficult situations do arise. While the strategies we will share in this series can be useful in a number of scenarios, in general, we suggest that teachers really use their powers of observation as patterns of challenging child behavior begin to arise. Through your observations, you are able to understand so much about a child's behavior, like when and where incidents happen most often, what tends to trigger the behavior, and perhaps why the behavior may be occurring. As you observe and assess, you are better able to determine what a child may be trying to communicate through his or her behavior. You are able to plan out behavior supports more intentionally, more strategically. You can ask yourself, when specifically during the day do I need to implement some of the strategies I've learned? When does this child's behavior tend to need extra support? How will it look? Then proceed by implementing your planned behavior strategies.
You will notice us reviewing this process at the beginning of each Behavior Tip Tuesday episode, as these steps pave the way towards a proactive, prevention-based approach to behavior, as opposed to a reactive approach. Now let's hop in and learn one very useful and effective strategy, implementing transitional cues. Margaret, why are transitional cues so important?
That's a great question, April. Transitional cues are important because they can help promote self-regulation when children need to move from one activity to another throughout the day. These cues also provide children with consistency, when and what will happen next, to help reduce challenging behaviors. We can empower children to maintain self-control even when transitioning away from a favorite activity. Remember, we want children to actively participate in their daily schedule. April, what is our first tip when it comes to successful transitions?
Tip number one is to make sure the child knows and understands what's coming next and give them something to look forward to. Visual schedules are perfect for this. Set up a visual schedule showing the child several steps of their day with pictures. As much as you possibly can, stick to your schedule like glue until it's an easy routine for the child. If a child is struggling a great deal with transitions, try breaking it down into even simpler terms with a first then chart, showing that the child must complete one activity before moving on to a more preferred activity.
All right, tip number 2, try using a visual timer. Bring the child's attention to it when you set it and keep referring to it throughout the activity. Look, we have 2 minutes left. Offer a set number of turns with the activity before moving on, and then count them out clearly. 10 more pushes on the swing, 3 more turns with the toy. Give lots of warnings for how long the child has left to participate in the activity. If your classroom has the technology, you can get free visual timers from YouTube. April, what is another fun way to introduce a transition?
Tip number 3 is to have a consistent way of signaling that an activity is over. Try singing a consistent song that lets children know that a transition's coming, like a lineup song or a cleanup song. You can also simply put on a CD with kids' music to let everyone know that it's time to transition to the carpet for circle time. Another example is to turn off the lights to show that one activity is ending and a new one is beginning. If there's a specific child who has difficulty with transitions, giving them a job of turning off the lights, turning on the music, or leading the song is a great way to keep them productive.
That's a great tip, April. We know children love music. So, tip number 4, limit the amount of time children wait between activities. We know that there are many times that children will have to wait. So, what can we do? Maybe we can sing songs, play a guessing game, do some finger plays, or even reciting rhymes with children can help pass time more quickly when they have to wait for a new activity to begin. Fidget toys, hands on tasks, and movement can help children who find waiting too difficult. If you have a child that needs a little more support, what can you do, April?
Tip number 5 is to individualize the transition. Individualized transitions are made for the children that need a little extra support. Try adding a sensory pit stop to help the child who needs a place to play for just a minute to help them before moving to the next activity. Make sure the materials are wipeable and are a quick sensory play stop. An example is to make a sensory playbook with materials from your classroom. Use clear page protectors and make pages with small items to make a book where the child uses their senses. Margaret, we've shared multiple transitional cues today: schedules, timers, using song, minimizing the wait, and individual transitions. What's the last tip of today?
All right, the last tip for today is tip number 6. Consistency is key. When young children engage in persistent challenging behavior, parents might look to their children's teacher for advice. Giving parents suggestions and guidance for transitional cues they can use at home to provide that consistency that children need may be the key to their success at home. Ask families if it's okay for you to look at their family schedule, routines, and transitions. It's important that parents try to plan ahead before the transition by using a visual schedule for their children at home. It's important to support families to ensure that they have the necessary resources and all the materials ready and available for the next task before signaling a transitional cue. Also, it's important to support families around the importance of using music, songs, and predictable noises to signal transitions at home. Lastly, discuss with families about what are the difficult transitions that their child is having throughout their day. A few coming ones are morning drop off at school or even bedtime. It's important for them to determine if their child has the necessary skills for understanding directions and moving to the next activity when a transition is signaled. Practicing transitional cues with their child and adjusting accordingly to the child's needs can play an important role in their child's success.
Here are a few more helpful resources for you to follow at home or in the classroom.
That concludes today's Behavior Tip Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions about the content of this Facebook Live, or if you would like to learn more about our services and supports at DECAL, please call us at 1-833-354-4357 or email us at inclusion@decal.ga.gov. We would love to hear from you.
Don't forget to tune in next Tuesday where we will be discussing the importance of using 5-to-1 deposits, reinforcement, and praise during our next Facebook Live. Thanks again. Bye.